building a fizz.
In a giant sea of cool podcasts, finally comes a review show that kicks the cool to the curb. Welcome to Kick the Cool, everyone. I am your big little brother, Tone.
And I am your little brother, Wopsle.
I'm your big sister, Shishi.
And this is the podcast that gives you the reviews you didn't know you needed. What's up, my nerds?
What is up, my brother?
What up?
What is up?
Woo-hoo.
Let's stop using contractions. Okay, with no more contractions. We only say full words now. What is up?
What is up with you? There is nothing up with me.
I am not sure that I use contractions, but this does make us talk like robots.
Now we do talk like robots. I am now talking like a robot. See, I didn't say the contraction.
But you didn't.
I did not.
Oh, shoot.
No.
It's you broke the spell. It's like the quiet game. Once somebody talks, it's over. So I guess we can
It's
use
over.
contractions now.
Yeah, I guess so. Okay, good. Well, then that's out of the way. And, a few episodes ago, Waffle said that we need to, we need to get more reviews in. And so I'm just going to count that as a nice little quick review. If you were wondering about, contractions, now you know. So, but what I do want to talk about today is also a way of shortening words.
Oh.
One way that you can shorten words is by using initials, right? By using abbreviated. So the one that comes to mind for me is NES. NES.
Nintendo.
The Nintendo Entertainment System.
Yeah.
Might be the first acronym I ever knew.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what's interesting is some people, like World of Warcraft, people now call that WoW. WOW, World of Warcraft.
Mm-hmm.
No one ever, as far as I know, referred to the Nintendo Entertainment System, the original one, as the NES. Did anyone call it the NES?
No, we just called it the Nintendo.
Or the NES. You could call it the NES.
I never called it the NES.
Oh yeah, a lot
never,
of people
did.
called it the NES. Now, one thing that you also could call it if you weren't really hip to what was going on is the Nintendo. A lot of people called it the Nintendo.
Yes, I loved that.
Yeah.
I always felt like a knockoff system called the Nintendo would have done really well.
Yeah. I always felt like maybe the Nintendo was the knockoff to the Nintendo.
Right.
See, Nintendo is more of a real word.
But the intended. Like it's intending.
Yeah.
You know what else I loved is how, a lot of people would call the gray box the NES. They would call it the Nintendo. And then they would also call the flatter one that had Sonic on it. That one was also called the Nintendo. And then there was the old one with the joystick that you could play like tanks on. And then most moms called that the Nintendo. And then Xbox came out with it was also a Nintendo. So I loved how that was just everything. And for young people, I think we got so frustrated. Like, it's not a Nintendo, Mom. It's a TurboGrafx.
Yeah. It's a DVD player.
Right.
So when you...
I don't think anyone ever actually called the DVD player.
Where's the controller for this Nintendo, Tone?
For this Nintendo.
Yeah, and then then the Super Nintendo came out, and of course it was the SNES. I know I've heard somebody call the original one the NES, just kind of here and there, but I definitely never heard anyone take SNES for a spin.
SNES. No, you don't even try SNES.
No way.
But this is a real topic that we are at some point we're going to need to delve into because just the games alone, talking about all the Nintendo games, there are so many memories and I guarantee you our listeners know all about things like Excite Bike and just every Castlevania and I mean there are so many good games.
What was that one?
Games.
What was the one where you went and raided other people's castles and you had to joust and it was called Castle
Defender of the Crown.
Defender of the Crown.
We were addicted to that game for a while.
Yes, I played that game when you guys would, let me.
Which was about once every fortnight.
And then I played the heck out of it because I knew I wouldn't get another chance.
The thing I remember about that game is, remember the very first thing was a sword fight. That's how that game started.
Yes.
And then you expanded.
Oh.
And I couldn't beat that sword fight when I was young. And so one of you guys would have to beat the sword fight for me.
I remember that. Yes.
Uh-huh.
And we were like,
yeah,
give me that bad boy. I will beat that sword fight for you because it was so fun.
I would, if y'all guys weren't home, I would turn on the game and literally couldn't do the first thing you're supposed to do. It was so
you
hard.
were about 6, 5.
I was 5 when we got
old.
when we got our NES.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. We got our NES. Yeah, I mean, there's just so. Of course, we've already talked about pro wrestling, the Nintendo game.
Mm-hmm.
And when you go back to the old school, there was kind of like a couple of different generations of original Nintendo games, right? When they first came out, it was Duck Hunt, it was Mario, it was pro wrestling, things like that. And then later on, you had Castlevania, and they started to get a little more complicated. And Zelda, then moving to the second Zelda. What was that one called? A Link something.
The Adventures of Link.
The Adventures of Link, maybe so. But the improvement from one game to the next was pretty big. Like the improvement from Zelda to the Adventures of Link was pretty big.
Yeah, they began to optimize how the data worked, and so I've seen several YouTube videos on how small those games actually were, and how amazing it is that they were able to pull off what they did. Whereas now games are gigabytes and gigabytes. Those were 100 megabytes was the whole entire game.
Right,
it's wild.
We don't have to be, and maybe it's not challenging coders enough because they don't have that. We have to fit this into this certain space. Now they just go, guess what? It's a 40 gigabyte download, dog. Do what you got to do.
Yeah. And maybe your machine will run it, and maybe it won't.
Right.
You don't know until you get it on there. So, I will admit that all of those Nintendo games kind of mushed together. So I can't remember what was on the original NES, what was on Super Nintendo. Then Nintendo 64, we had one of those for a little while. But I do remember when the Nintendo 64 came out, I was unable to wrap my mind around a 3D world and figure out how to navigate that. I had the hardest. Yeah, and now I love them. It's fine. But my gosh, we were talking about Minecraft last time, and that's kind of what, that was that Mario. I don't remember, Mario 64, I guess. Anyway, that game for that system, I didn't even try. I got on there, I was completely bumfuzzled, and I quit. And I never picked it up again. I couldn't figure it out.
Yeah, well, that was the first time that we were all introduced to moving in a 3D world with the joystick. I get it was still buttons. It was still buttons,
and it wasn't and it wasn't the controls as much as it was just, where do I go? I can go anywhere. So how do I know where my destination is? I don't know. Yeah. How do I know?
You're used to just going right. Just going toward the right.
To the right.
Yes. Yeah. It'll scroll when I walk. It'll scroll.
Yeah, that's what I love too, is how much Nintendo 64 was open world, or also Wave Race came out on the 64 immediately.
Yeah.
And so me and my friends, we would just start a race, but not race, just go around on these little, wave runners or whatever, or jet skis, I guess they were, and just ramp on stuff and find secret things. And it was the 3D immediately. Every game was an open world game. And that's what we loved about it. But it was the objectives were not quite as clear.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. That's very true. Yeah. I mean, but that's a great point though. Going from the Nintendo to the 64 was a gigantic leap. It really was. So if you had to say, Wopsle, going with the original NES, what would you say is probably your favorite game on there?
Definitely, it was the Super Spike Volleyball. game.
Oh yeah,
Nintendo Entertainment
love that
System.
game.
That's a great game.
Oh, we used to have tournaments on that thing like crazy.
What a great game. I love that game.
What about you, Shishi? Do you have a favorite?
Like I said, they're all kind of mixed together, so I don't remember what was in the original. I do remember playing a lot of Spider-Man and a lot of Ninja Turtles. And
that Ninja Turtles game was off the chain.
It was
yeah.
so good.
Okay. So was that the original one?
Yes.
That was in NES. So, and then did we also have a Donkey Kong on that one?
No, I don't believe so. What? Now there was, Donkey Kong was on the Nintendo 64.
Oh,
wait.
Well,
hey, I have to interject. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to bogart your topic, but my favorite game was Super Mario 3. That was on the original NES too.
Yes,
Super
it was.
Smash
Oh, was
sucks.
it? Okay,
Super
sure.
Mario
Yeah.
3 is all three of our answers to that question.
Totally.
That's
yes.
right.
Yes. You can fly.
You're right.
Hello.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When he puts on like the bear costume and stuff, I'm like, it's done. Get out of town. This is the best game.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Great game.
Great game. Well,
what about you, Tone? Anything an honorable mention other than the obvious winner with Super Mario 3?
Well, Super Mario 3 is the winner. If I had to pick like 1A, it would probably be Defender of the Crown, but I mean, Mule is up there. I think though, of course, Mule is awesome, but so I think the one, of course, that I have to pick that changed my life the most of any video game ever was Super Tecmo Bowl.
Yes, it was.
Tecmo Super Bowl is
Tecmo Super Bowl.
Yeah, that was, I mean, it changed my life. It made me go from someone who didn't know anything about sports and didn't really care that much to someone who was deep into it. And that lasted all my life.
So, guys, did we have Metroid on the NES or did we not get that until Super Metroid?
No, we had it. We had it on the NES.
Okay, then why am I even talking about anything else?
Right.
You did love Metroid.
I mean,
I was wondering.
Metroid. That's 1A. I was just thinking, I can remember Super Metroid. I can't really remember. They're kind of squished together again in my mind. That was a long time ago.
It really was.
It was a long time ago.
Well, and I remember specifically, me and you playing, for hours and hours and hours playing Metroid. And, so it's one of those games, these games are great. One of those games where it's like, you find a thing, then you have to go, like, let's say you find a door, but I can't get through that door. I need a frost ray. So you have to go find the frost ray, and then you blow up that door, and then you go in and you go, there's 8 more doors. And I can't get into any of them. And then it's almost a part of the game design where you then have to just go wandering around.
Yeah.
And then you find something that you forgot about and go, oh, I now have the hammer of Thor. I can bust through that.
Yeah, that's what I needed. Yay. Now how do I get back there?
Yeah, right.
But I'm getting chills right now because I just love Metroid so much. And it's always been one of my favorite games. And so I'm happy that we were there from the beginning. That makes me happy.
I know. Well, thanks for talking to me about the NES and the SNES and the 64. But this week we're going to start our reviews off, guys. We are doing a new thing, listeners. We are doing a new thing that is going to change the landscape of Kick the Cool for all eternity. We are introducing a new setup where the first review every time is going to be a listener suggested topic. So Wopsle is going to have the honor of doing this for the first time. Wopsle, what listener suggested topic do you have for us today?
Yeah, I love getting topics from people because they are always the weirdest and most random. And it's like even sometimes
we feel like we're pretty
that.
Weird and most random, but no, they beat us. Yeah.
But this makes Bank Tubes look like an honest, like needed Yelp review. But so I think we've reviewed one of his before, but we're going to dip back into our buddy Dean from Texas. One of the things he asked us to review is cereal.
Okay.
And kind of specifically dry cereal. But he's kind of wanted like how you eat it, when you eat it, which ones you eat, how your mouth feels when you eat it. So dry cereal, but kind of also cereal in general.
When you say dry cereal, we're talking about that you would then add milk to, right? Like you're not eating it dry.
Aren't you?
Well, other cereal is like oatmeal and rice. Those are cereals.
Definitely
right?
like a box. No, but like a box of cereal. But
okay.
Yeah, you guys don't eat it dry ever?
I
used to.
Yeah. I do. So what do you think about cereal? So a box of cereal, however you want to experience that box or the cereal within, what do you think about it?
Man, I miss cereal. I can't eat it anymore because it's bad on my tum-tum. So I miss it because, it's a good snack. I love little bitty foods that I can just pop, like popcorn.
Yeah.
I eat that. That's how I eat my snacks. And when I'm reading or it's just watching a show. But I can't eat it anymore. But I used to eat, I love Golden Grahams. I could list them. I'm not going to do my list.
Don't do the list.
I got a list, man. I didn't even write it down. It's in there.
You just know it by heart.
I know it.
Oh, man. Well, Tone, what about you? What's your relationship with cereal?
I have a very, I think I have a typical relationship with cereal in that I love them all. I literally cannot think of a cereal I've ever eaten that I did not like it. And so I love them all. I love them dry. I love them with milk. I love to chop up fruit and put it in the cereal. It is, I think everyone feels this way, but I will say the one that I have vowed to never eat again is called fruit tear up the roof of your mouth loops. Fruit tear up the roof of your mouth loops.
That toucan hates the roof of your mouth, and he's so waged
mad.
War.
Sandpaper in every bite.
Yes, and how many little kids are eating this stuff, and then
shards of glass.
Yeah, there are a million 8-year-old kids who are walking around going, "Why does my mouth hurt?"
It's the loops.
The loops, dude.
When you give your kid a bucket of loops before they head out the door, it's going to be like, all right, you're going to have a hurt mouth all day at school. Good luck with that.
Yeah, but you love that flavor.
But you love it.
Oh, and it's crunchy.
No, listen, I feel like the more prevalent, even more than Fruit Loops, is that Captain Crunch hurting the roof of your mouth.
Oh, man.
That'll get you.
Yeah.
That peanut butter flavor is worth it.
But it's so
good. It is, totally. It's so good.
Oh.
You know what I think? I think that Captain Crunch is intentionally painful to eat because if it wasn't, we would finish the box in one setting every time. It is like a self-defense mechanism that the cereal has adapted.
Yes, well, they did this on purpose, right? When they were in the lab, they were like, they were testing on little kids, and they were like, "This is not going to work. We can't release this on the unleash this on the public." And so they were like, "Okay, we got to do something to counteract it." Oh yeah, okay, this will work. And then the little kids were all like, "I love the flavor, but my mouth hurts."
They had to find the perfect balance between pain and pleasure.
That's right,
yep.
Boy.
Yep.
Captain Crunch is like life in that way, you know.
Yeah.
It really is.
Life
I'm a strong believer. Life cereal.
Cinnamon Life specifically.
Nice.
That was nice.
I have a list.
Was that a Martin Luther King quote?
I have a list today.
I have a list. Oh, see,
and all the
fire,
cereals.
Oh,
okay,
man.
I'm not going to continue with that.
Oh man, yeah. So it's my favorite thing in the world. And what I did yesterday is for dinner, I was thinking about cooking this and cooking that and cooking the other, and then I was like, you know what? Today I just got a bag of cereal for the first time in maybe two years. I have not eaten cereal in a couple of years, and I tend to do this. I'll go, wait, I got to get back on some cereal. It's been too long. So I got some generic Golden Grams, and for dinner last night, I was like, watch this. Watch what I can do being a single adult man. Cereal for dinner. Here we go.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, totally. When I was, when the kids were going back and forth and I was alone for a whole week, my dinner about 4 times a week was cereal and Doritos. That was my dinner.
Oh, that does not. So for me, that didn't sound. That
not
didn't hit
together.
Me right.
Not together.
Okay,
I did not mix them.
Okay.
But, yeah.
Sprinkle a few Doritos on top of those Cocoa Puffs.
Right.
Some people use bananas, strawberries. I do Doritos. Just
a little bit of lard. I just pour some lard on top.
Oh, Lord.
You know what I miss about cereal? Because I feel like I got in on the tail end of being able to buy a box of cereal and then that bag inside of the box just straight up having a loose toy inside of the cereal itself.
Oh, yeah.
Like that used to be a thing, which seems kind of crazy. But didn't we kind of have a rule where like whoever poured the toy into their bowl got the toy, right?
That's right. That's right. Because Mom got tired of walking into the kitchen and I would be elbow deep in some box of cereal.
Yes. Yeah.
Just
totally. Did you wash your hands? I guarantee you didn't.
she was done with that. She was like, "Look, guys."
Well, I figured out how to kind of you collapse the short sides of the box so that it makes like an oval, and then you kind of just tip it around, and shake it, and eventually that bag comes to the top. Pour your cereal, the toy goes in your bowl. You're good.
Well, I was going to say, did you guys submit to that rule, or did you guys find hacks to subvert that rule more often? Sounds like Sherry, you were.
I don't really remember that rule, honestly. I feel like she did play that game for a long time of I'm just going to get the toy out for you. And then you guys can fight over it and like throw it in the floor and you guys go after it. You know?
Like hyenas.
Right.
Fighting over the last scrap of meat. So
many things went. Yeah. Yeah.
she would it looked like the opening of a hockey game. She would be holding it up in the air at waist level and we would all be jockeying for position.
Yep. Getting in the stance. Mm-hmm.
Oh, I love cereal. I want to let the world know. I love cereal.
You said it, Tone. Cereal might be one of the very few universally loved things. Everybody wants cereal.
Yeah.
It's so
I mean,
good.
the only reason you don't is not because of the cereal, it's because of the milk, right? That's the only time you don't want cereal is when you're lactose intolerant.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I feel like it's just so bad for you, though. You know, it really
There's
is. For the most part, it's just like eating dessert. And I don't even, I mean, I can eat Raisin Bran sometimes, but I can't eat anything with just, white flour in it. We get so much of that in our diets.
That's true, about cereal, that it is kind of just like dessert. But isn't it weird that all breakfast is just dessert? Like pancakes and covered in syrup. Like it's all just dessert.
Waffles.
Donuts.
Donuts.
So, at least it's not like the only breakfast food that's like, oh, I'm over here being real sweet. All breakfast food is doing that.
Right.
Yeah.
How many people ate breakfast at the Preg Bakery in our hometown? You know what I mean? And because they would, the people would go in there, they get a coffee and a Danish or whatever, and it's like. Yeah, it's for some reason when it's breakfast, we think it's okay and it's not affecting me that bad. I don't know why.
Why is that? I don't know.
I have a bear claw every morning at 6 a.m. sharp, and then boy, I feel great all day.
I guess it's probably you need your carbs, because I eat an egg every morning. Yeah, I eat an egg every morning, but whenever I have a donut, I have more energy. So
for like an hour, right? And then you sugar crash.
Well, it's like the coffee. It just wakes me up, and then I don't really crash unless I eat too much.
Mm-hmm.
But
Wait, I have one more quick question about cereal before we move on, and that's why did every cereal have to have a mascot? I guess to like to get the kids involved, but like
right.
I feel like that would have been a hard meeting to come up with the mascots for your cereal.
Oh, I don't think it was difficult for them to do, and that's illustrated by the fact that when you look at these mascots, you're like, one of two things happened here. Either someone did not put very much time into this, or someone got really high, and then they some of these are so crazy.
Well, and I guess not just that the mascots happened, but the commercials back in the day, like with Lucky Charms, everyone was trying to steal his Lucky Charms to eat them, and he didn't want us to eat them.
Yeah.
Right.
Wasn't the whole premise that he was trying to hide them, but we were trying to get them from him? That's weird.
I think so.
Yeah. I think so. Yeah.
They were his and we were trying to steal them. And then also the rabbit was trying to steal from the kids. The Trix rabbit.
Stupid rabbit. Idiot.
Okay. So whenever I think about
the kids would just tell him what was up. The kids were like, "Screw you, rabbit."
Whenever I think about those old commercials, I think about how everything had sugar in the name until mid 80s.
Right.
Can't get enough of super sugar golden crisp. It's got a sweet punch.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
well, I remember one of the generic cereals was just called sugar, and it got confusing because you're like, that's just all that is sugar.
Let's add sugar to the sugar.
And then so what? Like, why a toucan? Why and why? Oh, how about this? Honey Smacks. You remember Golden Smacks or whatever they were called?
That's the frog.
Sugar Smacks.
That's the frog. Sugar Smacks. Why do you have a frog?
He's like a DJ frog too, right? He had like a hat on, and he was kind of like
he was real cool. Yeah.
Oh yeah, he was super cool.
It made perfect sense to us. We didn't question that. Well,
Right,
all of the commercials were like cartoons. Basically,
Yes.
they had exposition and a plot line. So
yeah,
which that leads me to my concluding statement is you just made the point. How did cereals not create cartoons to promote their cereal?
I feel like somebody did. Yeah.
They had to have, right? If there was a 30-minute long, like, Sugar Smack frog hopping around, like, achieving things in his life, then I would want to go get his cereal. But I don't remember.
What I don't understand is how they avoided having a Super Friends type cartoon on Saturday mornings with all of the mascots, and they would all fight crime or whatever, right?
Yeah, General Mills, get all your guys together. So what would that be? So Marvel has the Avengers, DC has the Justice League. What would the cereal crew be?
Oh, I like the cereal crew.
That is good. Yeah.
Oh, we could call it the something along the lines of "It's actually bad for you."
Okay, yeah.
You don't realize this, but you're gonna be obese later in life. Crew.
Yeah.
The
obesity in a box crew.
The secret obesity. The
sweet
surprise obesity. Or the other thing I was thinking is it could have to do with the crunch mouth that you get, because most cereals dislike the roof of your mouth. Some hate that more than other, but most cereals are going to do a number on your mouth. So it could be like the anti-dentist league or something.
Oh, the anti-dentist league. Yes. But I don't think they have superpowers. Their only superpower is to somehow utilize the cereal in some fashion, right?
Somebody's really tired, and they make sure and give them cereal, and then they have energy again.
Yeah, they dump it into their mouth like Popeye, Popeye eating spinach.
Yes,
yeah, exactly.
Yes. Yeah. Hey, I got one thing, Tone. I don't know if you'd remember this, Wopsle, but okay, when Mom would buy grape nuts cereal, we were not allowed to touch the grape nuts.
That's right.
And we wanted it so bad.
So bad.
Because we would just, of course, it was off limits, right? And if you put enough sugar on anything, it's going to taste good.
That's right.
When she did let us have some, she would give us like a tablespoonful. in the bottom of the bowl, and we would just put a tablespoon of sugar on top of it and milk, and that was like heaven. We were getting one over on Mom. So we were eating her cereal.
Yeah. And I remember, go ahead.
I was just going to say, for a long time, I thought that's how much you had to eat. Like, I thought if you ate too much grape nuts at one time, maybe it was bad for you, or maybe it was too filling and you just couldn't handle it.
Right.
And, but no, she was just being stingy.
Right. Well, I have a distinct memory of being in the Tecumseh house, and so that would have meant that we moved out of there when I was 5 or 6. So, I remember distinctly being at that dinner table in that house. So I must have been about 5. And I remember asking Mom for a bowl of grape nuts, and she gave it to me. Mm-hmm. And I just, all I saw was this milk is water, and all of these other things sticking out of the milk are mountains. Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And so I made this game and I was 5 years old. I made this game where my spoon was a construction vehicle, and it would come along and bulldoze a part of a mountain off, and then I would eat it. And I remember, like, because I was taking so long to eat the cereal, and because it was very filling, and Mom gave me a little too much, I got in trouble so bad for not finishing. I couldn't even eat half of what she gave me. And I was in so much trouble.
So it's your fault.
It's my fault.
It's your fault we only got a tablespoon.
Well, wasn't it always my fault? Come on.
But remember how strangely small that grape nuts box was?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
The company was so stingy. It was from the top down. Everybody was stingy.
Yeah. And I can understand. I mean, it was expensive, so I understand why she was hoarding it, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, listen,
now I buy generic and I eat full bowls. So
somehow, thank you, Dean, for your submission. I don't know how we talked for 20 minutes about cereal, but
thanks, Dean.
But thanks, Dean. Let's wrap this up with some ratings, though. Shishi, what do you rate cereal?
I have to rate cereal based on like how much I love it versus how hard it is on my stomach. So pain versus pleasure again, and the roof of my mouth, of course, it's always a factor. So I'm going to have to give cereal a rating of 5 out of 10 grape nuts. It's just right in the middle.
Oh, yeah. Right in the middle. Okay.
Yeah.
I get that.
But grape nuts are so tiny. It's just like
but they're good. So
I always had a problem with grape nuts because they resemble kitty litter. So it's like a 1-to-1.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I had a hard time with that. Tone, what do you rate cereal?
Well, and I actually, in a pinch one time, used the grape nuts for kitty litter because I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Come on.
You peed in the grape nuts, didn't you?
peed my grape nuts. Oh, I almost got myself in trouble there. Okay.
Cut that out.
Yeah. So I'm going to have to rate cereal. The roof of my mouth looks like it should be being punched by Rocky Balboa during a practice session. It looks like just raw beef.
Gross.
And
wait a minute.
Yeah. That's what I'm going to rate it, is because here's what happened. While we were talking about it, I realized I'm not going to be party to this anymore. This stuff is bad for you. It hurts you. It's terrible. But it tastes so good. You know what? Not me. Not anymore. That bag of cereal that I have, throwing it out as soon as we get done with this podcast. As a matter of fact, I'm doing it before we get done with the podcast. I'm doing it right now.
Well,
this bag, hold on. This bag.
See, Sherry, Tony could have just leaned back and pretended. I guarantee you he is actually doing this.
Guarantee he's really doing
he's shaking it.
He's not throwing it away.
Okay.
I'm throwing it out the door.
No. Oh, out the door.
Oh, wait, we just did it in the front yard? That seems ill-advised.
Here we go. All right. Bag of cereal on the porch.
Those raccoons are going to be all over that.
Okay, I'm done with cereal.
Okay.
Proud of you, Tone.
Thank you.
Good job. Good job.
Okay,
you gotta do it sometimes.
You do. You got to do it. Speaking of got to do it, listen, I don't care. It's too good. I don't have them too much, but when I do, I love it. So I'm going to rate cereal. I got to have my Pops. Because I do. I got to have those things, man. I love it.
Oh, those are the best dessert.
I got to have my Pops.
Ugh.
You got to.
Oh, man.
See, you're a slave, Wopsle.
I'm so hungry right now.
Hey, so it's a well-documented fact that my favorite food is soup. I love soup. I love the weather that soup brings. I love anything soupy, and people often ask me what my favorite soup is. And I usually tell them that it's a toss-up between chili and Raisin Bran. Because you see, I think that cereal is just breakfast soup.
Okay.
Because cereal
like
is
that.
just a soup is just liquid and lumpy, right? So
Yeah.
cereal is soup. Melted ice cream is soup.
It's
Chili
a
is
breakfast soup.
Tomato is soup. Mud puddles are soup. I love all things soup. So that's part of why I'm not backing down from cereal, is because cereal is breakfast soup and soup is my favorite food. I'm standing by it.
Okay. So what do you rate it? Oh, wait, you already rated it.
He already
I gotta
rated
have
it,
my
yeah.
Pops.
I
Gotta have my
forgot.
Pops. All right, guys. Good topic. Wopsle, thank you for that. And Dean,
Yeah.
thank you for that. Just remember,
you,
guys,
Dean.
we're gonna be taking these accepting these suggestions. We're gonna do one every week. So please just flood us with ideas so that we can start putting you on the air. And we're gonna move on over to Shishi. Shishi, what do you have to review today?
Well, I thought I might review something that kind of hits close to home. I'm pretty moody. So I thought I'd, want to see what you guys think about moods. What do you think about moods?
Oh,
The first thing I think about when you say moods is a mood ring.
that's the first thing I thought
Oh.
too. Straight there.
Really? I did not at
Mhm.
all. And probably wouldn't have for a long time. So
I've got to get a mood ring. I don't know what I've been doing with my life. I have to get one.
how do you know what mood you're in if you don't have one, right?
Maybe now that I'm saving so much on cereal, I'll have the money to buy one.
For years, people have been like, "Hey, Wopsle, how you doing?" And I just say, "I have no idea.
Right. Why do you torture me?
How am I supposed to know?"
I love bringing these topics to the table, and because I never know what you guys are going to do with them.
Right.
It's great. It's perfect, in fact. Okay, what do you rate moods? No, I'm teasing. So do you feel like if you call someone moody, that is an insult?
Ooh, that's bad. That is bad.
Yeah, totally. That's totally an insult, and I don't think it should be. It's really, when you think about people who you would call moody, a lot of times they've gone through some trauma in their past, or they are, they feel emotions more strongly than other people. And we as a society, we like crap on that all the time. You know what I mean? Like, why do we make fun of people like that?
Because they cause us problems. I think we cause you problems.
We said we cause. Let me ask you this: is someone who's moody someone who more quickly moves back and forth between their moods? Or are they someone who seems to feel and express the moods they're feeling like more drastically?
That is a good question, because I've heard it kind of both ways. And I sort of feel like if you're like quiet all the time, or like emo or broody, that's usually what I see somebody saying, that you're moody. Mm-hmm. But I kind of feel like it's like you go all over the place with your moods. Like, I have very strong moods, and like most of the time, I've mentioned before, when we're gearing up to do the podcast every Tuesday, and I start, I just get this feeling of dread. Well, in the past, that would have controlled me, but now I know that I'll work through it, and I'll be in a different mood once we start, and it's like, anyway, I don't know where I was going with that.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's how I would have defined it too. More like you're saying, like you're just kind of all over the place, and nothing wrong with that. And knowing that about yourself even helps you. It helped you anyway. Get through it.
Yeah. I will say that it's hard to live with. Like I've lived with moody people.
You're telling me. Yeah.
You're talking about the kids, right?
Yeah. Actually, I was talking about you writing that.
Oh, okay.
Right.
You don't know the half of it.
Well, now let me ask you this. Someone who has an anger problem, what most people would call he has an anger problem. That's moody too, right? Because anger is a mood. You can be angry. That's what mood you're in.
Yeah,
I think
that's a mood. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that is a mood, but someone who has an anger thing is not moody.
Right.
Right. Yeah. We don't call someone with anger issues, we don't call them moody.
So, and really, I guess I went off in a different direction. I was planning to just talk about moods themselves, not necessarily being moody.
Okay.
But I started that way. But so, I mean, are you people who think like you do get stuck in your moods? Do you?
I used to.
Say.
Well, maybe the way what my interpretation of what you were saying just now is, do the moods control you instead of you are able to control your moods somewhat? Right, like that's the big thing. If you so normal people feel a mood and then they go, okay, I'm feeling that mood, but I don't have to stay in that. I can alter my own reality. And then there's some people like what I used to go through because of bipolar disorder, that the mood would dominate me and there was no escape. I just was at the whim of the mood, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that doesn't happen for me anymore. So that's, yeah.
I feel like probably Wapsel's pretty even keel guy. I wouldn't call you moody. Do you feel like
even keel is what I was going to say. Yeah, no, I feel like I am pretty just kind of right in the middle. Like I definitely get excited about things and get down about things, but overall, like you're usually going to find me just kind of like at a pretty level space.
So what's that like?
Yeah, tell us. What is that like?
Teach us, a wise one.
Oh, wise one.
Well, it's kind of like you said a second ago, Tone. The sucky thing about moods is like you don't get to choose which one you are. And me and my wife Amy do talk about this a lot. Knowing that you're moody doesn't help you to be less moody when it's inconvenient.
That's right.
In fact, it kind of makes you more moody sometimes.
It makes you more moody. Right. Yes.
And so I don't think there's a right way or a wrong way or a normal way and an abnormal way, but I'll just tell you guys, it's nice to be in the middle a lot more often than at the extreme.
Yes.
It's usually where you want to be, and it seems to work out in my favor more often than not.
So true.
So, Tone, what do you rate moods?
Oh, wow. I'm not a big fan of moods. I don't think that's weird. I think that probably most people are like, no. I'm just going to go with the first thing I thought of. So moods get 2 out of 10 mood rings. That's what I rate moods.
Oh, nice.
2 out of 10.
2 out of 10.
I wonder if mood rings have temper tantrum color.
Oh.
If they're
How standard are the mood ring colors?
Yeah, I want to know that too. Is there a database, that I can go check? Like, is there a website dedicated to this?
Have you ever put on a mood ring and not gotten blue? I mean,
I've gotten black.
I get green. Oh,
really?
Oh.
Yeah, I get black.
Ooh.
See, it works. Is there a website dedicated? is there a website dedicated to the science of toys, like to the Magic 8-Ball and mood rings?
Yeah,
and silly putty pulling off the newspaper, like all of the pseudoscience kid stuff. I would love that website.
There needs to be, yeah.
Okay, Wapsel, what do you rate moods? Not mood rings, moods.
I rate mood similar to Tones. With this Reliant K song. Let's get emotional girls to all wear mood rings. So we'll be tipped off to when they're ticked off, and we'll know just what they're thinking. Just what they're thinking. That's it.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
Let's get all the emotional girls to wear mood rings.
I would say that we need them on the
sexist.
boys. Hello.
Yeah, a little sexist.
I've had much more experience with that.
I think the boys need more help with the with the noticing and with the being empathetic about it is the deal.
I think boys need more help identifying their own moods, so they need the mood rings.
Nice.
Maybe so.
Well, I am going to rate moods 2 out of 4 temper tantrums.
2 out of 4. Oh, you've gone right down the middle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I do like some moods. I don't like other moods.
That's a great point, actually. I would imagine there are equal amounts of good versus bad moods.
Yes.
Yeah. Very scientific. I like it. All right, we're going to move on to the last review of the day, and that's me. I'm going to talk to you guys about your name. Have we already reviewed your name?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
No.
Okay, good.
That's a good one.
Well, so what do you think about your name?
Well, I definitely have the most thoughts probably about my name. I legally changed my name, so I'm one of the very, very few people in the world that chose my name as an adult, which is pretty weird. At least part of my name. So I like it just fine. No one can spell it. Everyone asks lots of questions about it. I kind of hate that whenever I meet someone new, they learn a lot more about me than I learn about them because we end up talking about my name so much.
Right.
And I hate that. But overall, I love my name. I'm glad I chose it when I was 25 years old.
I'm glad too.
Well, my name I did not choose, and Mom named me after a pretty girl she knew, and her name was Sherry Lynn. And so were millions of other people naming their children at the same time.
They all knew that one pretty girl.
Millions of people knew that pretty girl and named their child after that pretty girl. So,
yeah. Well, and so I'm kind of going through a tough thing because, okay, like there's a sports broadcaster who his name is Tony, and I get along with that name, but then his last name is Kornheiser.
Yeah.
And my last name is Cornelius. And I've always liked the name Cornelius, and I always there were many times where I wished it was my first name because Cornelius is a great first name.
Yeah.
But it does have 4 syllables in it. And that's
a lot
too
of
many
vowels,
syllables.
Dude. And just a lot of
vowels.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, people spell it like Cornelius, like
Right.
Yeah. And to be fair, there are a lot of variations on that name. So
yes.
I mean, I get it.
So I'm wanting to, for the purposes of starting a different podcast that I'm about to start, I'm wanting to change my name. And I don't know where I stand on how is it okay if I legally change my name to Tony Cornell?
Okay.
Sure. I was thinking about that when I was writing. That sounded like a good short compromise.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. For
our family, I think we are a very close-knit family. I think we love each other well. I think we know what it's all about. And for most of our lives, we haven't had the same last name as each other or as our mom. And so it's kind of like we know exactly what family means to us, and it's awesome, and we love it. And we also can change your name, and it's not like you are changing it away from what anybody else has. You're just
right.
I mean, I got married, so my name changed. I still use that name, but sometimes that's my legal name, but I go by Cornelius because that's just I don't know.
Well, no, that's a good question. Why do you?
Well, I guess because I wanted to separate myself from that other identity, and all of my old friends knew me as Cornelius because I didn't get married until I was 28. So, I had all of my college friends, all of my high school friends, and, a lot of regular friends. So
right.
It made sense.
Yeah, that does make sense. And, Now, is there a little bit of douchebaggery involved in being the guy who says whenever I see people that I used to know or whatever, or even my friends, I have to tell them I changed my name, by the way. Like, now you have to call me this. Like, isn't that kind of weird? Like, it sounds kind of no. Okay,
no, not at all. I don't think so. I mean, and how often are they going to call you Tony Cornell? I mean, they're not.
Right.
They're still going to call you Anthony or
That's
Tony.
true. That's true. Okay, good point.
Whenever, I don't know if your friends would do this, but I hope this isn't dishonoring to our mother. When I told her I was going to change my name, and I was kind of asking for her permission. I don't know what I would have done if she would have disapproved, but she said, no, it's great. Let's go ahead and do it. And then she said, where are you going to change it to? And I said, well, Wopsle. And she knew, that was a part of my life already. But our mother said, well, if you're going to change your name, why don't you change it to something famous like Pitt or Cruz? Those were the two that she pointed out that I should change my name to.
Michael Jean Pitt.
Michael Pitt.
I said, well, Mom, because Wopsle means something to me, and Pitt and Cruz kind of don't. Like, those mean something to a lot of people, but not to me.
Not to me.
So you might just have to have people. I think once you change your name, really, I have experienced this. A lot of people tell you what you should have done or how you should have done it.
Yeah.
Kind of like a tattoo, I think, right? Like
I was just going to say that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that's pretty cool. You should have done this. It's like, well, first of all, I did what I wanted to. Second of all, it's too late. So why?
It's too late. Why would you even say it?
Yes. Yeah. Get some tact, people.
Yeah.
Now, what's interesting, when I first started, this topic, I was kind of thinking more that we would get into names themselves and how much does your name affect who you are? So that's kind of what I had in my head, but I'll go ahead and ask that. So guys, at what level does your name dictate what you are as a person? Or does it not at all?
I think it does, but it's kind of a luck of the draw, I think, because like Oprah is the only Oprah in the world. And,
right.
She could have been mercilessly teased and put down and crushed, but she wasn't. I guess maybe she was and she just rose above. But I think most people, it's either or. Like if you have a very unique name, then, it could go either way. My name is very plain, and I have always felt that way. So I feel, I don't feel like my name matches my actual personality.
Really? Okay. I feel like it does. I feel the same way though. I feel like Tony does not match me. Now I feel like Anthony does, but I feel like Tony does not match who I am because, and it's so funny. I have a negative feeling about Tonys. Every Tony I ever saw was way too like, hey, oh, hey, like Tony Danza and Tony, Tony Soprano and,
That's
Tony's,
they're Italian.
Yeah. Tony's an Italian name. And it's like, hey, Tony, I never liked that whole thing.
Mm-hmm. Well, you could have been Mark Antony because that's what Mom wanted to name you initially.
I would have been cool with that. Although I would not go by Mark. I would obviously go by Anthony.
You would have gone by Mark. You wouldn't have known the difference. So
he still
would have
called you Anthony. I can tell.
Yeah.
As soon as you could make syllables, you would have said.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's probably partly because I'm the younger brother, but your name fits you so well because you defined Sherry for me, right?
Right.
Like
right.
you are Sherry.
Yeah.
So every other Sherry, other Sherrys that don't seem like Sherrys to me are because they aren't.
Aren't you?
Aren't you? So,
and I don't want to sound all conceited. Well, okay.
So, hey, one time in college, I introduced a girl. She said, "Hey, I'm Sherry," and I said, "No, you're not."
Where's my sister?
Wait,
my sister,
what a great costume, she. You don't look anything like yourself.
Well, I think because my name was so common, I felt like it was a generic kind of boring, and I feel like I'm more unique than that. and maybe I'm not. Maybe I'm so basic and just fooling myself. But we don't really know ourselves, do we?
Exactly. Now, Wopsle, do you feel like you does Michael define you at all?
Really, not at all. People always ask me if they can call me Michael because Michael is still legally my first name, if people are out there wondering. People always say, can I call you Michael? And my answer is always the same. I say, oh, totally. You can also call me Steve or Mark or Bob. You can call me whatever you want. And I'm not going to be that offended by it.
But my name is Wopsle.
Yeah. And so I know it's a little bit of a jerky way to respond, but I'm trying to just say like, yeah, you can call me that, but it's not my name. So why would you, kind of deal?
Why don't you drop it and just be Wopsle?
Can you be a one like Cher or
Yeah, he
Madonna?
is already. I think
I had decided when I did it. First of all, I kind of chickened out because I changed my name pretty quickly after the movie Superbad came out, and there was a character on that movie that had an ID that just said McLovin.
Right, McLovin.
And it was just one word. And if I remember right, the cops or something kind of didn't love that. I forget what happened. But I was just kind of scared. I was like, I'm not going to know how to file taxes with one name. So I chickened out. But I decided that for our 5-year wedding anniversary, I was going to change it again and drop everything else and just be one word. Well, and then guess what? I chickened out about that again. And so I've just left how it is. And so I think legally you can, but right now, so many forms are online right now. Like, and you can't skip the first name one.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I don't know what I would do there. So I'm just like, I'm not trying to be I'm not trying to fight the man so hard that I want to like uproot, make that part of my life difficult.
Your first name would then be not applicable.
NA. Of course, then people would go, nah, Wopsle? Hello?
Yeah.
Nah, Wopsle, are you here?
If a form isn't too official, my first name, I always put MR. Right now, that's what I do in a lot of stuff.
So then I wish you would. Yeah, I wish you would
just
change
legally
your name
change it to that.
Yeah. And then you'd have a bunch of smart Alex that did the same thing they did with Mr. T. They saw this as this incredibly funny goof that they were going to play. Yes, shall I call you Mister? No, fool. My name's Mr. T.
I pity the fool that calls me Michael.
All right, guys, let's rate this topic. Wopsle, what do you rate your name?
I am going to rate my name $280 name change fee. That's how much it cost. So I paid that much money for my name.
Cool. I like it. Now, I also like the fact that you chose to go with you are rating your name, not the topic, your name.
I thought you were asking me to rate my name.
I know. I thought it could have been either way.
Go either way.
So very interesting that you chose that one. Shishi, what do you rate your name?
I rate my name a giant sea of Sherry Lynn's.
Right.
Just multitudes and multitudes.
You found the one that kicks the cool to the curb.
Yes, that's what I've been saying.
All right. Well, I'm going to rate your name, Danza Soprano Gonzalez. That's what I rate my name.
Awesome.
All right, that is going to do it for us this week, guys.
That's awesome. Hey, yeah, like we mentioned earlier, we're going to be doing a listener submission review every single week. So if you want to get your name into the Hall of Fame podcast zone, there's an official registry that we would have to submit your name to. If we use your idea, send that idea to reviews@kick.cool. Also, feel free to DM us on Instagram or Facebook or Twitter or wherever you happen to be.
And we also want to thank the band Bugs for letting us use their song Reviews from their 2017 album Self-Help. And that is our theme song. So go support Bugs in any way you can.
Come on over to Twitter and let me know if you see anything weird there, because I want to collect some weird Twitter stuff. So that's that's my thing. I'm going to have a project
Okay.
in the future, and the
Weird
project
Twitter.
is Weird Twitter. Twitter says what? Is the name of it.
Okay.
I already thought of the name. So
Oh,
let's get some
nice.
Twitter. Throw that Twitter stuff at me, okay?
Yeah. All right. Well, that's it. That's going to do it for us this week. My name is Tone.
My name is Wap.
I'm Shishi.
And we will see you next week. Love you. Bye.
Love you.
Love
Bye.
you. We love you. Bye. Clicking the pin. Clicking the pin. Right number.
Hey, this reminded me of a song that has some explanation here. It says, when it's black, it means watch your back. Because you're probably the last person in the world that you should see. And when it's blue, it means that you should call her up immediately. So, and when it's green, it simply means she's low stressed. When it's clear, it means that she's completely emotionless.
And just slip out the back, Jack. Make a new plan, Stan. No need to be coy, Roy. Just listen to me.
Cool.
Man walks down the street and says, why am I soft in the middle now? Why am I soft in the middle? The left of my life is so hard.
Where's my wife and family? What if I die right here? Who'll be my role model now that my role model is gone?
Gone. Oh, you were supposed to continue. I saw my chance to jump in and you left.
I was letting you take the next part of the verse.